Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yesterday I finished filming the progress on the Mustang engine build, and today I figured we'll give the ultrasonic cleaner a run for its money, see if it can clean up all this carbon and basically get this piston looking the best it possibly can, just using ultrasonic cleaner and a degreasing solution. Stay tuned. In the previous video I wanted to see if the rings would free up, if there were any marks, any chips, any dents, so I placed 2 pistons at a time into the ultrasonic cleaner for about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. They came out, I didn't use a brush, I basically just took them out the ultrasonic and left them to dry. And that is basically all I've done to them. I've not touched them on the wire wheel, I've not used a wire brush, I have not used anything. 20 minutes, ultrasonic cleaner, put on the bench to dry, and that is it. These are perfectly fine to store. They're clean to an extent, they're not coated in oil, but as you can see there's plenty of carbon deposits on the top, and the skirts are a bit cruddy. They could do with a thorough clean. We have a very generic carb cleaner solution, and that is it. No degreasers, no salt, no nothing. 20 minutes did get these looking fairly decent, definitely good enough to store, but I want to get these looking almost brand new. The way the ultrasonic cleaner works is the vibrations come from below, so what you will find is that basically the surface facing the bottom of the actual tank itself will get a better clean. The stuff in the top, it will soften, but it will not clean as good as the stuff that's actually facing downwards. I put them both in, and then after the cycle's finished, rotate them round, put the cycle back on, and just basically see how long it takes and how much effort is required to basically clean these up and getting these looking pretty darn good. So the ultrasonic cleaner, it's very simple to use. I do have a video on YouTube, a review on this guy here. I'll leave a link up above. But basically, you add your solution, you put the temperature on, so temp is on, set your temp, and then turn it on. The heaters are now on, and you literally just press this button here. We have a 20-minute timer, press this button, and the machine will start, and that is basically it. So let's get this basket out and get the pistons in and get this process started. I think we'll start, this is piston 6 and piston 5. If you have subscribed to my channel and watched the video, you will see that piston 6 is destroyed. It is cracked, it is junk. It's all this dirt that's kind of sunken in there on the pin. And in the oil ring is completely full of just dirt. It's like sand, like black sand basically. But the main test is that carbon. You can see on the top, I mean, this stuff here, this carbon. As you can see with my nail, it's not coming off. Could probably use a screwdriver and scrape it off, but it's really thick and hard. Let's see how this copes in the ultrasonic cleaner. We'll run that 20 minutes, come back, rotate them, and see how well they clean up. We could even try putting some pistons with a crown in first, and basically that'll just clean the skirts and the crown, wouldn't really touch the connecting rod. And away we go. Let's have a look and see what we have. This side has been cleaning and it's a bit better, but could definitely do with more. So let's rotate them and put them back in. So it's been 20 minutes, left it 15 or so minutes to just sit. I filled this up, it was a bit low, so I topped it up with some fresh water, and it is too hot to touch. Let's inspect it and see how clean it came up. These are absolutely boiling. Yep, a bit too hot to touch. So the carbon on the top has started to flake. On the inside of the piston looks pretty good. This one was already clean on the top because I cleaned it up before I took it out of the engine. There's a bit still down them corners, but looking really good. I've just spent about half an hour trying to fix this thing and it's destroyed. All this dirt and grime has got into the pump. I did have a filter on it, but it's broke, so that needs to be replaced. In fact, this whole design is pretty rubbish. I've been toying with the idea of installing a tank underneath with a heater installed and a pump in the bottom. This would be empty and basically the water would be pumped from the bottom back to the top, back through some sort of filter, some sort of strain, and back down into the bottom container. For the time being, I'll have to just dunk and brush it by hand and see how this cleans up. This one has not been washed in the parts washer. This one has. As you can see, we still have carbon and it's still quite tough. So it's got obviously all this off, but over here it needs more work. I've used a wire brush and that will not come off. It is still quite stubborn. The rings are cleaning up quite nicely. It is working, but I expected better. This has been in 20 minutes yesterday. It has been back in today, 20 minutes on one side, 20 on the other. Next, I think we'll put it crown down in the ultrasonic and see what that does. Back in the bath. So that cycle has finished. Let's have a look and see how clean they are. It's getting there. That is very clean. It's not perfect, but it is definitely breaking it down. Even after 4 goes in the ultrasonic cleaner, we still have carbon on the top. I've took the rings out. They're not needed. They need to be replaced if we're going to reuse this piston anyway, so I've took them out. It'll help to give it a better clean. The top ring is perished. It's like dust. You try to remove it and it just crumbles, so it'll have to be scraped out. We have some pitting on the side here as well, which I never seen before until after the ultrasonic cleaner, which is a bit unfortunate. So this is working, but it's took 4 goes, so you're talking well over an hour of being submerged into this to get the pistons to this level. I think what I'll do next is wait for this to cool. Once it's cooled, drain it out and then refill it with something different. I'm thinking just generic dish soap. So it is the following weekend. We are going to drain this out, replace it with some fresh water, add some dish soap, and hopefully that will do a pretty decent job. However, from Amazon, picked up some GUNK Ultra. We'll put that in also and see how that does. We have attempted to clean these pistons using a carburetor cleaner solution. That is not so good. We will try a dish soap, and if the dish soap is no good, we'll try this guy here. So we have our fresh water and it's about the right temperature. It is 52, which is good enough. I have no idea how much to use, so let's just say 100, which is a lot. So 100 ml, that is a lot of dish soap. Now, do I think this is actually going to clean the pistons up, remove all that heavy carbon from 1960? I don't think so. So piston 1 has not been cleaned whatsoever. It's got plenty of carbon, so let's make this try number 1 and let's see how it comes out. the water's dirty, so that's a good sign. So that is off one pass using only dish soap, and that looks really good. This is before and this is after. So this is the crown before and this is the crown afterwards. That's a great improvement for using just dish soap and heated water. That is better than I expected. Let's try this stuff. So I've went with 1 litre, so hopefully that is enough, and let's give it a try. So it has been 20 minutes. Let's have a look and see what we have. Oh my god. Wow. So that is from 20 minutes and that is unbelievable. That is some good stuff. This has been in 4 or 5 times. This has been in a couple of times. These have not been touched, and this has been in 40 minutes. And let's face it, the first time it went in, it didn't really look much different. 20 minutes later, and that's what we have. So I'm going to spend the next couple of hours putting these in the ultrasonic cleaner, 40 minutes each, and let's see how they look. Each of these have been in ultrasonic cleaner for 20 minutes on each side. So what I've done is, in the ultrasonic cleaner, I placed the pistons side by side, left them 20 minutes, turned over the rods and the pistons, left them for a further 20 minutes, and this is what we have. Literally did nothing to these. I have not tried to remove the carbon from the crown. I have not polished the skirts. This is literally 40 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner, and this is how they've came out. You may notice that 4 of these have cleaned up better than these 2. These 4 pistons to me are not the same as these 2. One obvious factor is the coloration. These are much more stained. These are clearly older used pistons. I think these are relatively brand new. I think the engine has been rebuilt, but for whatever reason they have only replaced 4 of the 6 pistons. If we look at the skirt of the piston, you will see that these have small numbers: 35, 32, 17. Quite hard to make out and quite small. On these 2 pistons we have a 12, much larger, much more prominent. That is the same on this one also. Not sure if you guys can make that out, but it does say made in USA. On the older pistons it's in a different style font, but it does say, probably can't work that out, but it does say made in USA. Also the conrods, they have stampings on them, of course, and they all look the same other than this one. It is much larger and this dimple on the top is much more prominent. The wording on the back is much finer, much smaller. This once again is much larger and much more prominent. Also, each of these rod end caps have markings on both sides all the way down. However, on this one, which is a different conrod, there is no markings on the end cap itself. The previous owner, or the previous person who built this engine, for whatever reason decided to keep 2 of the original pistons and only replace 4. Let's not forget it's got a different conrod. So is this engine basically 2 different engines? Maybe there was one laying about, one that was broken. They've kind of mixed the 2 together to get one working. That is a possibility.
But it's definitely clear that these pistons are not of the same age. Even the oil ring, this is all gummed up with years and years, decades of old oil. This one has cleaned up to almost in new condition. We started off using carburetor cleaner. That did clean the pistons. It took at least 4 attempts to get this piston looking sort of presentable. Including the cleaning that we have done in this video, this has probably had 6, maybe even 7 baths to get this clean. 20 minutes on one side, 20 on the other. And that too has also cleaned up quite nicely. Placed it in the ultrasonic cleaner, rotated it, pulled it out, and this is the results that we got. This one is a bit more pitted, but this is what I believe an older piston. This is one of the newer pistons, and that is pretty much clean. Once again, this is what I believe to be an older piston, pretty clean. And the last 2 pistons, yeah, they're pretty much clean. So it would seem carburetor cleaner, it takes the thick off, but it does not get them to this standard. Using dish soap is a very cheap alternative. I could probably fill this at least 10 times with £1 worth of dish soap. That is definitely a cheap alternative. This guy here steals the show. Literally putting 1 litre of this into the 10 litre ultrasonic cleaner. Bear in mind, this is not 10 litres. It is marketed as 10 litres, but I would say it's probably more about the 8.5 litres max. Probably get away with putting half a litre of this into the 10 litre system. This was only £10 from Amazon delivered. I can refill my ultrasonic cleaner 5 times using this. It would only cost me £2 per fill. I have had this for a long time now, and this is the first time I've actually replaced the solution. As you guys would have seen in the beginning, there was a big thick pile of sludge at the bottom. That is from a lot of use. I'll probably get on with cleaning all these parts off camera. I think you guys have sat through enough of me cleaning pistons for the time being. So that, guys, we're going to call this one here. So like always, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.